All right, let's fire up those smokers and grab your sharpest knives because today we are diving deep into the art of sliced beef brisket.
Ooh, brisket.
We've got this comprehensive guide from Cooker Diary,
Looks good.
and I'm ready to level up my brisket game.
It's a great choice. Brisket can be a little bit of a culinary puzzle, but this guide seems to have all the pieces.
Okay.
And it all starts with understanding the anatomy of the beast. We're not just talking about the flat versus the point, although
Yeah.
those are crucial.
Yeah.
We're talking about the muscle fibers themselves.
So before we even think about firing up the smoker, we need to get up close and personal with those muscle fibers.
Yes.
It seems like slicing against the grain is the key to unlocking tenderness.
Yeah.
But I've always wondered what's actually happening at a microscopic level when we do that.
It's all about breaking down those long, tough proteins.
Okay.
Imagine trying to chew through a rubber band. Not exactly a pleasant experience,
No.
but if you were to slice that rubber band into tiny pieces,
Right.
suddenly it becomes much more manageable. That's essentially what slicing against the grain does to those muscle fibers. It shortens them, making them easier to break down as you chew,
Uh-huh.
resulting in that melt-in-your-mouth texture we all crave.
So it's not just about making the slices look pretty.
No.
It's about transforming the entire eating experience.
Precisely. Now, this guide really emphasizes the importance of identifying the grain direction, especially since brisket has those two distinct sections. The flat and the flat with its leaner profile tends to have a more uniform grain, making it relatively easy to slice, but the point with its beautiful marbling and often swirling grain pattern
Oh, yeah.
can be a bit trickier.
I've definitely encountered those swirling patterns before, kind of like a Brisket Jackson Pollock painting.
Exactly. That's why the guide recommends separating the flat, and the point before slicing it allows you to follow the grain of each section precisely,
Right.
resulting in those picture-perfect slices that are both visually appealing and incredibly tender.
All right, so we've mastered the art of slicing.
Yeah.
But what about building those incredible layers of flavor? The ingredient list in this recipe is surprisingly simple.
Yes.
Yet there's something about the combination that just screams delicious brisket.
The beauty lies in the synergy of the ingredients. It's not just a random assortment of spices. Each component plays a specific role in creating a symphony of flavor. The savory depth of garlic and onion provides that foundational umami base. And then you have the sweetness of brown sugar, which not only enhances the flavor, but also aids in creating that beautiful bark during cooking. And of course, you can't forget the smoky punch of paprika,
Oh, yeah.
which adds that quintessential barbecue aroma and taste.
It's like each ingredient is a musician in an orchestra, contributing its unique note to create a harmonious masterpiece.
Mhm.
But one ingredient in particular caught my eye, olive oil. I wouldn't normally associate olive oil with Texas barbecue. It seems more like a Mediterranean staple.
It might seem unexpected, but olive oil is a secret weapon in achieving that perfect brisket crust. It's not just about adding moisture, it actually plays a crucial role in the Maillard reaction, that magical chemical process that occurs when heat interacts with amino acids and sugars.
Okay.
This reaction is what gives cooked foods, especially meat, that incredible browning and depth of flavor. The olive oil helps to facilitate this reaction, creating a flavorful barrier that seals in the juices and contributes to that crispy, craveable crust.
Wow. So it's not just about flavor, it's about science.
Hmm.
I never knew olive oil played such a crucial role.
Yeah.
Speaking of science, let's talk about the different cooking methods this guide explores, oven versus slow cookers.
Good question.
I'm always curious about the pros and cons of each approach.
It's a great question because choosing the right cooking method can significantly impact the final result. Think of it this way. The oven is like a high-intensity workout for your brisket. Yeah. It uses dry heat to create a beautifully seared exterior and concentrate those flavors, resulting in a brisket with pronounced bark and a more intense smoky flavor, on the other hand. The slow cooker is like a gentle massage. It uses moist heat to slowly break down those tough muscle fibers,
Yeah.
resulting in a brisket that's incredibly tender and practically falls apart.
So it's not just about personal preference. It's about understanding how each method impacts the texture and flavor of the final product. But no matter which path you choose, the journey starts with selecting the right cut of brisket.
Absolutely. The guide recommends either a whole packer brisket or a flat cut.
Yeah.
Each with its own advantages and considerations. A whole packer brisket, which includes both the flat and the point, offers a combination of lean and fatty sections,
Right.
creating a flavorful and visually appealing final product. The flat cut, while leaner, is often easier to manage and cooks more evenly.
And I imagine the guide also delves into those all-important cooking temperatures and times, right?
Yes.
Because achieving that perfect internal temperature is crucial for a brisket that's cooked to perfection.
You're absolutely right. The guide goes beyond just stating a temperature range and dives into the science behind those numbers.
Okay.
It explains how the internal temperature of the meat affects the breakdown of collagen, that tough connective tissue that can make or break a brisket's tenderness.
I've definitely had my fair share of brisket fails where the meat turned out tough and chewy. Definitely not the melt-in-your-mouth experience we're aiming for. But this guide seems to be addressing all the common pitfalls.
It really does a great job of anticipating those common mistakes and offering solutions. It even addresses a phenomenon known as the stall,
The stall.
where the internal temperature of the brisket plateaus during cooking.
Huh.
It explains why this happens. It's due to evaporative cooling,
Okay.
and offers tips on how to navigate this stage and ensure your brisket continues to cook properly.
Wow, this guide is like a brisket troubleshooting manual. It's amazing how much science and strategy goes into crafting the perfect brisket.
It's truly a culinary art form. And speaking of art, let's move on to the more creative side of things. This guide takes us on a global flavor adventure with some exciting brisket variations.
All right, I'm ready to travel the world through brisket. Tell me more about these global flavor adventures.
We're talking Korean, smoky BBQ, and Mexican, each variation reflecting unique cultural flavor profiles. And this is where things get really interesting. So we've laid the groundwork for brisket mastery now. Let's see how different cultures take that foundation and create something truly unique.
Okay, passport in hand.
Oh,
I'm ready for this culinary trip around the world.
excellent.
Where are we headed first?
Our first stop takes us to Korea, where bold flavors and fermented magic reign supreme.
Okay.
The guide highlights a Korean-inspired brisket that leans into the savory umami notes of Asian cuisine.
I'm already intrigued. What are the key ingredients that give this brisket its Korean flair?
It starts with a marinade that's a symphony of flavors. Soy sauce, sesame oil, ginger, and garlic come together to create a base that infuses the meat with an irresistible savory depth. But the real star of the show is gochujang,
Gochujang.
a fermented chili paste.
Oh, yes.
That adds a complex blend of sweet, spicy, and funky notes that are distinctly Korean.
I've seen it used in all sorts of Korean dishes, but I never thought to incorporate it into brisket. I bet it adds a fantastic kick.
It does, and it pairs beautifully with the richness of the beef. The guide also suggests serving this brisket with the side of kimchi, that iconic fermented cabbage dish that's both spicy and tangy. It's the perfect counterpoint to the savory, succulent brisket.
It sounds like a flavor combination that's both familiar and excitingly new.
Yes.
I can't wait to try it. Okay, what's our next destination on this brisket world tour?
Next, we're heading to the heart of America's barbecue scene, where smoky flavors and slow-cooked perfection are practically a religion.
Ooh, bring on the smoke.
This guide's smoky BBQ brisket variation is all about amplifying those classic barbecue notes.
I'm guessing this variation involves a symphony of spices and a healthy dose of smoky goodness.
You guessed it. The guide recommends a dry rub that features smoked paprika chili powder, garlic powder, and a touch of brown sugar for sweetness and bark formation.
Okay.
It's a blend that captures the essence of a backyard cookout, evoking those nostalgic aromas of slow smoked meats over hickory wood.
It sounds like the perfect dry rub for a classic Texas-style brisket. But what about the sauce? Every great BBQ brisket needs a sauce to tie it all together.
Absolutely, and the guide doesn't disappoint.
Okay.
It provides a recipe for a tangy, slightly sweet BBQ sauce that's perfect for slathering on those tender brisket slices.
Yeah.
It features a blend of tomato paste vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, and a touch of molasses for depth and sweetness.
My mouth is watering just thinking about those smoky, saucy brisket slices.
Okay.
I'm ready for our final destination. Where is this brisket passport taking us next?
Our last stop takes us south of the border to Mexico, where vibrant colors and bold flavors are always on the menu. This guide's Mexican-inspired brisket is all about capturing the essence of Mexican cuisine, with a focus on fresh ingredients and a balance of savory, spicy, and acidic notes.
I love the idea of bringing those bright, fresh flavors of Mexico to a classic brisket. What are the key ingredients that make this variation so special?
It all starts with a simple but effective dry rub that combines ground cumin, smoked paprika chili powder, and a generous squeeze of fresh lime juice.
Okay.
The cumin adds a warm, earthy depth, while the paprika brings in a touch of smokiness. The chili powder provides a gentle heat, and the lime juice adds that bright, acidic counterpoint that's so characteristic of Mexican cuisine.
It sounds like a flavor profile that's both bold and refreshing. But what about those classic Mexican accompaniments?
Mm.
I'm thinking warm tortillas, fresh cilantro, and maybe a vibrant salsa.
You read my mind. The guide suggests serving this brisket with all those delicious accompaniments. Imagine tender slices of brisket tucked into warm tortillas topped with a sprinkle of fresh cilantro and a dollop of your favorite salsa. It's a flavor explosion that's sure to transport you to a sunny Mexican fiesta.
This culinary world tour has been amazing. It's incredible how a single cut of meat brisket can be transformed into so many different flavor experiences.
It really showcases the versatility of brisket and the creativity of cooks around the world.
And this deep dive has provided so much more than just recipe inspiration. We've delved into the science of slicing, explored the art of flavor pairings, and even ventured into the world of global cuisine.
Right.
But the real journey begins when we take all this knowledge and apply it in our own kitchens.
You're absolutely right. This deep dive has given you the tools and the confidence to not just cook a delicious brisket, but to become a true brisket master.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Everything from the microscopic structure of muscle fibers to the global tapestry of brisket flavors. It's been quite the journey.
What's fascinating is how this deep dive has gone beyond simply following a recipe. It's about understanding the WHY behind each step,
Right.
empowering you to make informed choices and even experiment with your own techniques.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's like we've unlocked a secret code, a language that allows us to communicate with our ingredients and truly master the art of brisket.
Exactly. And that's what makes cooking so rewarding. It's a constant process of learning and discovery.
This particular deep dive focused on one specific brisket recipe, but it's really opened up a universe of possibilities. What unique flavor combinations could you create?
The possibilities are as limitless as your imagination. Maybe a maple bourbon glaze with a hint of smoked paprika, or perhaps a coffee and chili rub for a bold, earthy flavor profile.
Ooh, I love the idea of a coffee and chili rub. That sounds incredible. And what about incorporating some of those global influences we explored?
Yeah.
Maybe a Mediterranean-inspired brisket with lemon oregano and a touch of garlic.
That's a fantastic idea. And remember, it's not just about the flavors, it's about the techniques as well. Perhaps you could experiment with dry brining your brisket for enhanced tenderness and flavor, or try the Texas crutch method for achieving that perfect bark and juicy interior.
So many possibilities, so little time. It's inspiring to think that this one deep dive has sparked so much culinary creativity.
And that's what we hope to achieve, to empower you to not just follow recipes, but to become culinary adventurers, exploring new flavors and techniques with confidence and passion.
We'd love to hear about your brisket adventures. Have you discovered any unique flavor combinations or techniques that you'd like to share? Head over to our social media and let us know. We're always excited to see what you're creating in your kitchens.
And remember, the most important ingredient in any recipe is passion. So go forth, embrace the art of brisket, and let your taste buds be your guide.
That's it for this deep dive into the world of sliced beef brisket. Until next time, happy cooking, and may your briskets always be tender, flavorful, and a testament to your culinary mastery.